are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It is currently 9:11 a.m. The temperature outside is, excuse me just a second here. It is actually 51 degrees outside right now. It's going to be windy today with a high of 68 degrees outside. So it's going to be 68. So, I mean, that's pretty darn warm for this time of year. However, it's going to be windy, so it might not feel as warm. So we'll see. Either way, traffic conditions are currently pretty steady going into Tulsa at the moment. I don't know what happens in the afternoon, but gosh, it just goes slow into Tulsa in the afternoon. It's like one single file line of traffic, and then, gosh, at the end of the day anymore, I don't know what's going on, but people coming back at, it takes me like 20 minutes to get home from work, and I live 2 miles away from work. So it's pretty wild that 5:30 in the evening, so maybe I'll just wait till 6 to go home. But I don't even know if traffic will be died down by then either. So
Truth.
I don't know. It's crazy that going in the morning seems to be less difficult than coming back at night, and it's definitely nowhere near as bad as it is what it'll be like here around 11 or 12 or so going in. Like I said, one lane. I don't know if that's just when they start moving the big stuff across the bridges or whatnot down there, but it's pretty wild. Either way, sorry we've been away for the last couple of days. We have been recovering from a very long and stressful drill weekend, so we're just kind of taking a couple of days to ourselves and recovering from that. So apologies for being away for so long. However, the big news that kind of happened over the weekend is the Big 12 championship game, which
Texas versus OSU.
Texas versus OSU, and let's just say it did not play out very well for the Cowboys. Cowboys suffered an embarrassing loss to Texas. It was 49-21. Texas beating OSU, and it was hard to watch. Like I said, just I don't know what's going on over there. The Cowboys. I know they had lots of injuries at the OU game. I don't know if they. I know that they struggled against BYU. Maybe their roster's out or something. But I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to pay attention to the season super closely when we know once a weekend out of every month we're kind of gone. So it's just tough to know. So either way, the Cowboys lost, and Texas will be leaving the Big 12 with the title underneath their belts, and they're ranked number 3 here at the moment. So I guess they're going to the playoffs. So congratulations to Texas. I guess they're a significantly stronger team than we anticipated them being. So, but like I said, they did beat Alabama at the beginning of the year. So, that's something. It's just weird. They lost to OU. They lost to a couple of teams they shouldn't have lost to, and then yet somehow here they are, and like I said, that's where I would say a lot of politicking goes into the whole
choose by
committee thing, because in what world would a team with that many losses still be up ranked? I know it's been a crazy year. This whole
isn't Florida State got no losses, and they didn't even get a chance to go to the championship game.
Obviously strength of record and strength of calendar and roster matters, who you're going up against, but this is just this has been a wild season. No consistency for any of the Oklahoma teams. TU, terrible season, terrible year. But like I said, they'd go up against teams and they'd win, and then they'd lose to teams that they should have beat them. But like I said, I know they were trying to figure out their whole quarterback situation for the first several games. So, this is what happens whenever I know competitions brings things, but it breeds greatness, but it's – I remember watching Tom Brady on the PBD. It wasn't actually the show. He just had a seminar with Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Brady was talking about whenever he had to share playing time with the guy who came in after he did. He played a season, had a really good season, and then another guy, they shared time. He shared time with the kid who they were like, oh, this kid's going to be good. And then it was hit or miss, so that neither of the quarterbacks got, this whole shared quarterback thing is, I get it, you want to replace the quarterback, and test him out and see, but at the end of the day, it's whenever you have a loss on your record, that's the coach's fault for not just being able to make that darn decision. It's
mm-hmm.
Hey, this quarterback played significantly better. But like I said, but competition breeds great. There is no right answer in that scenario, but they got to TU's got to figure that out sooner in the season, period. But like I said, but practice and game day are two very different things. Like you could have a quarterback who just gets the most reps and plays well with the team, and just like, hey, when you're going against a defense that scheme that
has prepared for you.
Yeah, it's prepared for you. It's like whenever we were in high school. It's like we're out there. Whenever I was on third string defense, you'd sit there and you'd be running against the first stringers, and they'd be like, "This is what the defense is gonna look like when we're playing against them." It's like, is it really though, coach? So that's kind of the way that I don't know how. I didn't play college ball, but I mean, I imagine it's probably somewhat similar. So I don't know. So maybe the quarterback just gets in there and just meshes with his receivers, and they're going up against a significantly worse defensive lineup. So like, oh, this is what it's going to be like in the game. No, they're going to be coming to eat your lunch. This is why first string should just be hitting each other in the head all the time. And even then, you can get so familiar with how certain people play in the backfield that this is why a larger roster and talent. You just got to have better looks.
Yeah.
So
well, I kind of think of it in the scheme of tennis. As like I said, no tennis coach wants you to play the same person over and over and over
same
again.
As fighting. Yeah, I mean, they'll bring in different fighters in mixed martial arts and UFC. Like, you got to fight this guy because this is a similar technique to the guy that you're going to be fighting in the ring.
Or just a size difference. Like I said,
instead
your
of just
sparring partner's not as tall as the person you're going to be fighting. So like, we got to go find like a 6'7" guy to train with.
And that's the thing about football. They're trying to hide their practices, they're trying to hide their schemes, but then you're having your first string go against your second or third string defenders who the quarterback's, if he's worth his salt, is going to be able to pick apart no problem, So that is the problem. You have the third string offense going against the first string defense. You have the third string defense going against the first string offense, and you're just like, this is the scheme they're going to be in when I run this play. It's like you're living in a fantasy world, coach. You got to just like, because whenever we'd go off in high school, whenever we'd go off the beaten path and be like, this is not how I would play this situation at all when you're out there on the field, and then the coaches will yell at you for going off. That's not what it says in your playbook on your roster. This is what the other team will be doing. It's like, yeah, but if a crappy third string safety, as a junior, is picking that out going, I would not do this in this situation. What do you think they're going to be? A well-seasoned, like varsity players going to think, oh, let me just run the play the way that it's drawn up on the coach called. It's like instincts are huge in the game of football. Instincts are great in life in general, but particularly in sports. It's like I got a feeling the ball's coming this direction, and sometimes your instincts are right and they pay off. So I don't know. So TU should have sorted that out a long time ago. I know that we on a tangent right there, but same goes for OSU. I think OSU just had so many injuries in the OU game. I doubt a lot of them came back, and then it was clear something was not firing off at the BYU game. They got lucky in double overtime and pulled through, which was great. That's a fun, exciting game to watch.
BYU is not exactly the cream of the crop.
Not this year. BYU can be a fantastic team, and they are. Historically, they're a above average team. But yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, then OU. I don't know what's happening at OU. I really think Gabriel's an overrated quarterback. Like I said, he's great. He's talented. He's good. But what I'm saying is, everyone's like, this kid's going to the NFL. It's like, I don't know if he's going to have a good career in the NFL. It's kind of like that Sam Darnold situation for me. It's like, this is the kid. This is the guy. It's like, yes, he is a talented quarterback. But then he gets into the league, and then it's just like, yeah, you're playing with way better dudes.
You're playing with dudes that all can run 5 flat.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Gabriel. Like, I don't see that next level, spark, and even Baker Mayfield's career hasn't panned out super great, but like I said, he still has that kind of it factor, he's got that hate in his gut kind of mentality thing. So that's why he works, he is his best publicist essentially. So, it is what it is. So it was just a rough. It's sad that Texas gets to leave the Big 12 with the title.
Yeah.
Shame the OSU played as terribly.
That's what I was really hoping for. I really wanted a Big 12 team to at least keep the Big 12 championship the year that our supposedly the two best teams, are leaving the league.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Texas looks like they'll be going into the playoff, and like I said, it's going to be a weird. It's just odd the way everything's kind of done now, and with this transfer portal. I mean. Somebody was saying, this is hearsay, but somebody was telling me that the OU's quarterback was getting ready to go into the transfer portal. So is Gabriel getting ready to leave OU and go into the the transfer portal to go away. Like, that's a rumor I heard from somebody saying something. It's all conjecture, but that's something somebody had told me. And I was just like, that seems odd. I mean, if you're starting at OU, why the heck would you leave? Unless, it's kind of like that, the albino kid, that was, I can't remember his name.
Also, now that they could play, they have players that you can pay the players now. It's like, it's also one of those things where it's kind of a factor for them to be like, oh, I'm going to go into the portal this year, so you better, up my little paychecks. Exactly, incentivize them to stay.
So I don't know, man. We'll see. I guess that's huge, and I didn't think of it from that perspective either. So
I mean, I don't know if that's even. I don't know how much.
I bet it is. I'm sure it is. It's like going where. What it's the coaches are supposed to convince them to stay under the contract or whatever their current thing is. Like, no, you should stay, and then like. I'm sure that the school is desperate enough. They're like, oh, no, we want you. Here's an extra $10K. Here's an extra, 100, whatever it is they can offer, whatever it is they're allowed to offer.
So now that they can pay players, I just don't see that as being as nearly as a viable option anymore of transferring in, because especially for a quarterback at a team like OU, as I said, why wouldn't you stay, develop your career so that way you can try to up your rank in the draft a little bit more and get paid more.
Yeah.
Versus, because that made sense back in the day before they paid players, because I want to get paid for playing football. 100% get that. Mm-hmm. Now that the colleges can, let players be paid or whatever, like now there's not nearly as much of incentive for that there.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, this whole thing has changed the landscape of college football, and it will continue to, because like I said, now it's kind of like the LeBron James factor. It's like you can't really get a coach to come in and coach LeBron, because LeBron's the highest paid person, period.
Yep.
What's the coach going to do? Like, you need to run the play like this, and he's going to be like, I ain't going to do that.
Yep.
This is my team, not your team, kind of thing. And
I put butts in the seats, not you, coach.
Yeah, and that's the truth. But at the same time, it's like if a coach can't develop a play and a scheme because a player's too big for his britches, And I'm not saying LeBron James is too big for his britches. The guy's worth every penny he's paid. He's a phenomenal athlete. But if a coach can't put together a game plan that the primary star, it's like the whole Michael Jordan thing. If you watch the Michael Jordan documentary, what was it called, the Last Dance, I believe. And, the coach was like, I'm not putting the ball in your hands anymore. It's like, and that was a hard lesson for Jordan to learn, because, he wanted to score. He wanted to be that guy. He is the guy.
The ball handler
but
every play.
Him being available or him not having the ball set other people up for success, which is what he wanted. He wanted to be a champion, an athlete, not just the highest score. Like, you have to make that decision too. It's like, do you want to be the best athlete on the field, like which arguably he was the best athlete, but he couldn't always have the ball, and he couldn't always be in control of the game. He had to allow other people to do things.
The team wins the championship, not a player.
Yes.
A player can't win a championship.
A player contributes significantly to it, but like I said, he can't do it by himself.
Correct.
And that's what happened. That's what happened when they built the team around Michael instead of building a team around the team and the championship. And that's what it is. It's like whenever OKC was playing. Like we had all these fantastic, like next level players. We had all those. We had Harden. We had Russ. We had all those guys, and it's like, but they couldn't get it to mesh. And still, they were developing their game that early on in their careers. Back in like 2013, 14 era, and then boom, it's like, and then they all became all stars on their own. But like I said, they had to have talent around them that wasn't going to be that was working well together. It was meshing and gelling well together. So, yeah. So we really got off on a tangent here. I don't even know how we got here anymore.
The fact that the game's changed in football to where you can pay
players.
Yeah,
you can play. Yeah, so now they can, if a player gets crossways with a coach, I'm out of here. I don't have to worry about being corrected. I can go.
Exactly. I can go to the draft, or I can go to another team that's going to pay me.
And then you're going to have, like I said, the yes man problem. It's like this coach going, oh, yeah, that coach is dumb. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Come over here. Play with us. We'll get you on the field. We'll get you an offensive scheme that will actually work for your play style, which has its pros and has its cons. It's like if a player cannot be, like I said, it'd be like if Brady transferred out of Michigan his last year because he was going to share playing time with that kid. Instead, he's took his head down, he put his helmet on, kept his shoestrings tied, and he went and fought every day until the coach was like, yeah, the new kid's not cutting it. you're starting for the rest of the season after the first 3 games. It's like, boom. Then they had a great season. So that's what these kids are going to have to – and that'll be a personal choice for the players, and you're going to see a lot of, the bigger the profile of the player, the more controversial everything's going to be. But like I said, there's going to be a lot of stuff in the upcoming years of just like, oh, we're following this quarterback because he got crossed. And it's going to be a drama sport again. It's going to become a journalist-led sport now. It already has been. Don't get me wrong. Sports journalism has been the Wild West of stuff like that article with Gundy, I'm a man, I'm 40. It's like that whole like when you read the article and stuff, you're just like, and then you hear the story in it, because I've heard the context of that story, beyond from that point where it's like Gundy might have made a bad decision benching the quarterback that was. I mean, that might have been a bad mistake because the kid was good. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be an interesting, like I said, this whole shakeup is going to be interesting to see out and play. Either way, we've been way too long on sports. Let me move on to upcoming events. I know that we're having, the big one's going to be the Owasso Parade, which happens the 9th. So that'll be Saturday. So if you guys want to go check out the Owasso Parade for the Christmas parade, go check that out. It should be a good time. Other than that, that's really kind of all we got today. We kind of were stuck on the sports tangent and just going off way too long on that, so I apologize. Yeah. But yeah, that's all we got for today. This has been the Twins with the Owasso Live, and this was the Morning Loop. I hope all of y'all have a blessed day.